let's recite our mission statement.
In this class, we are leaders. We respect each other. We take risks and we try our best. We learn from our mistakes. We create, we dream big, we celebrate each other's success. We're good citizens, you know it's true. We're good citizens in all we do. We work hard and respect every rule, helping the community and our school. We listen, share, and always care. We show good citizenship everywhere.
All right, let's go over our rules. We are stars in this class, so we make sure that we stay on task and listen attentively. We take responsibility for our actions, which means we are responsible for ourselves. We always do our best with a positive attitude. No matter what it is, you always give it your best. You always make sure that you respect everyone, the people that you work with within your groups, the people at your school, the people in your life, the people in your family. You also want to make sure you respect their things. Remembering that those things don't belong to you, we're respecting those as well. And you make sure that you're safe at all times, okay? We are stars in Chasewood, so we want to make sure that we follow those rules every day. Today for our math lesson, we're working on logical reasoning. Tell me a little bit about what logical reasoning is and what does it do? How does logical reasoning help us when we're solving math problems? Marjorie. Well, tell me this. What is something that we have to use when we're using logical reasoning? What do we have to use? We have to use our brain. And when we use our brain, what are we looking for? What types of things are going to help us to be able to solve the problem? What are we looking for? So we look for answers, but what leads us to get the answers? What are the things that lead us to get the answer? We have to look for the clues. Okay, so logical reasoning means math problems that require you to make sense of the question. And then it says you have to use critical thinking skills to solve. So today I'm going to need your help to help me to solve some problems. Now we can think about the word example. Give me some examples of things that are hot.
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce. Okay, very good. Give me some more examples of things that are hot. The sun. More examples?
Hot dog.
Hot dog. Okay, has the word hot in it, but I guess if I just cook it, it will be hot. What else? The oven. Now give me some non-examples. Now non has a prefix, and what does that prefix non mean?
Not.
Not. Good. So give me some things that are non-examples of things that are hot.
Water.
Water, well, what's the temperature of the water? Probably cold water. Ice would not be hot.
Cheese.
I don't know. I'll come back to you because I want you to think more about that. I want you to think about what am I doing with the cheese. Okay?
Snow.
Snow. Very good. So what we actually did here was we have some examples and some non-examples. Sometimes math problems are presented to you and you have to look and see what do they have in common. So you want to find out how are they alike. Many times you have to find out how they're different. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some examples. Now this is a made-up word. Have you ever heard of a zerubi? No, because a zerubi is a made-up word that I just created. I created this, but I want you to look at these examples of zerubis. So I want you to think about what do zerubis have in common. Talking your teens right now, what do you notice that all three of these shapes have in common? I want you to talk in your teens right now about what do you notice that zerubis have that's the same or that's alike?
Not all. They all have roots. No, it's a root. That's a root. That's what they all have roots. Because the other one has two. No, it's
Please stop.
look and listen.
Very good. So, someone share out for me, what do you notice that zerubis all have in common? What do they all have in common? Yes, ma'am.
Each ruby has two black shapes and one white shape.
Very good. She made a very good observation. You notice that each zerubi has two black circles here. And then it also has, what shape would that be? They have a square, but look at this one. Is that still a square?
Yes.
It is. And then this one, though.
Triangle.
Oh, so does it mean a zerubi has to be a square?
No.
Because that would be a a rhombus, and that's a triangle. So what do we notice about that? She's correct. They both have two circles that are black. But what else does she notice? Who would like to add more to this shape here that's white? Yes.
The white shapes are polygons.
They are polygons. And are these polygons? The circles? No, they're not. Very good. So the white shape looks like it must be a polygon, but it doesn't have to be the same shape. Now, very good examples of zerubies. But these are not examples of zerubies. Why would these not be examples of this? How are they different? What makes this one not go with this family? Why is this a non-example? Yes. Let's look at the first one. Yes.
Because the ruby is a square, and then the non-ruby is a circle.
All right, well, let's look at this one. This zerubi is not a square. Does that mean that this one would go in the family? Because I noticed that you said it needed to be a square, but this one is a triangle.
Oh, no, I mean like in the middle, it's an oval.
Right here?
Oh, wait, no, I mean the three black circles.
Oh, so we figured out that the zerubi had to have two black circles, but how many black circles does that one have?
3.
It has 3, so that's one characteristic that would make it not be in the family. Anything else you notice about this one that would make it not belong in that family? Yes, ma'am.
Well, the zerubies, the shape that they are is the white shape that's in it. But in that one,
Did you hear that? She made a very good observation here. She said the white shape is the same thing that the shape is on the outside. Did you notice that? So the white shape is the same shape that the zerubi is on the outside. Well, this one reason we said is because it has 3 black dots and this one has 2. So that would be a characteristic that would make it not be a zerubi. What about this one? It has 2 black dots.
but the shape, the white shape is
Oh, very good. So what about this one? One spot. Very good.
it's not the same shape.
Good. And you notice, we have to make sure that we look very carefully when we're trying to solve problems that require us to use logical reasoning. Now, we talked about what zerubies have in common. We talked about they have 2 black dots in an unshaded shape that is the same shape as the larger one. We noticed that. So then we talked about these are not zerubies. We talked about each one of them and what made them not be in the category with them. And the answer is, these shapes do not have exactly 2 shaded dots and 1 unshaded shape that is the same shape as the larger one. That makes that not be a zerubi. So, here is your opportunity. You're going to create an example. So you're going to make up this funny word, and you're going to call it that name. You're going to create 3 shapes, and the 3 shapes that you create are going to go with your name. So you know how I made up the name zerubi? You can even make up one with your name. And then you're going to create 3 shapes that go with the name of your shape. And then you're going to give me the 3 examples. You're going to give me 3 non-examples. And then I want you to think really, really hard. And once you're finished, I want you to show it to me. And then I want you to share it with the people in your group and see can they figure out the answer. Are there any questions? All right, you may begin. About character traits, and we're talking about how characters change over time. In the story we visited earlier, we talked about Big Al, and we noticed here that characters do change over time. At the beginning of the story, Big Al, we said he was nice, and then we thought about some other character traits that were synonyms of being nice. We said sweet, friendly, gentle, thoughtful, and wonderful. And then we noticed that Big Al, before the end of the story changed, we noticed that Big Al started to feel a different way. Somebody share with me how he felt lonely or why he felt lonely.
Because
He didn't have any friends. And when you think about that, how many of you have ever felt lonely, didn't have any friends, kind of felt by yourself? Did you relate to Big Al in the story? Or what you actually did was you made a text-to-self connection. The character in the story, Big Al, kind of reminded you a little bit about yourself. Or maybe you knew someone who they shared with you that they felt that way before. And then we noticed that something happened. There's always something that caused the character to change. At the end of the story, we noticed that he was happy. So I ask you, Why was he happy at the end of the story? And you told me that because he saved some of the fish that were his friends. And you're absolutely right. Now tell me, why is that so important to that what happened at the end of the story? Why is that so important that he saved the fish? What do you think would have probably happened if he didn't save the fish? What can you infer that would probably have happened? Maybe because we noticed in the story that the fish were getting ready to be caught into this large net, and Big Al showed what a good character and what a good citizen he was. He showed to step outside of what he looked like and not caring about himself, and he chose to use that to try to help others. Now, a part of the story made us think that he saved the fish, and then what did we think they were going to do for him?
Save him.
Well, some of you felt like they were going to save him because all of a sudden he got caught into the net. And then the story really didn't tell us that that the fish were going to save him, but we did notice that Big Al got tossed back into the sea. Why?
Because he was so scared. The fisherman was scared.
They were so scared of him. So if he would have been a good-looking, not so scary fish, do you think he would have gotten tossed back into the sea?
No.
Probably not. So because he saved the fish, the end of the story, notice now, at the end of the story, he was happy, helpful, proud, he was bold, brave, and he had friends now. At the beginning of the story, we noticed that he was still nice, so he's still nice, that didn't change, but he was lonely. Is he lonely now?
No.
No, because he has friends. What you guys are going to do is you're actually going to create, you have a book that you're reading in your groups now. You're going to fill out this organizer about the character in the story that you're reading. Some of you are going to work together with your partner. Now, partners on the other side of the same table will work on this character organizer. What you're going to do is you're going to talk about the character in the story. You're going to talk about some character traits that describe how the character is in the story and how the character was. You're going to give me some information that justifies how the character was. And then at the end of the story, you're going to tell me how the character changed. Here where the arrow is, you're going to tell me what caused that character to change in the story. Now, as you're working, I like to have a voice limit 1, which means it's a whisper. You can still use your book. Each one of your groups have different books that you're going to work on. So you want you to use the books that are within your group. I want you to also be listening as I call the rotations for your stations here. I want you to also be listening and paying attention when it's your turn to go to a different group. We're going to start out first with the writing station. Can I get the reading jaguars to get themselves ready to go there? If I can get the reading group here, you guys are going to read independently on the books in your book box or the books that you have there in your groups. Our buddy reading group, you're going to do, that's our superstar leaders. You guys are going to go to buddy reading at the back. My guided reading book, if you would bring the Underground Railroad to the back table so that we can get ready for guided reading. The reading page, that's our reading crew. You're going to work on that. And then also work on words. You're going to work on that. Don't forget to bring your writing journal and your pencil so that you're able to do your writing, working on your writing words there. Okay, please go ahead and move to your station.
Created using Powtoon.